Nick Ashew here with the DMV.
Has concluded.
The DMVSTREAM.COM play.
Sean Parker along with Nick Allison.
I always wanted to play volleyball in college.
Cordova trying to dig it out of the board. And they score!
Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of the Prep Zone here on DMVSTREAM.com. Bob Trossett, joined by my analysts, Brenton Randolph and Derek Kramer. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Of course.
A lot going on, a lot of implications. We're only about 3 weeks out from playoffs here in the DMV. There's a lot to get to. I know you guys are itching. So let's preview a little bit for you viewers out there what you can expect on today's show. We'll go through and recap DeMatha and Gonzaga, South Lakes and Madison, Wise versus Eleanor Roosevelt. Those three did not disappoint. And then on to Sherwood versus Blair, Episcopal versus Bullis, Flint Hill and Potomac School. We'll recap all those for you. And then, of course, we'll preview a big game. We'll all be on tap for this one this coming Saturday. Good counsel at Gonzaga in D.C. I'm really excited for that one. I know you guys are too. Centerville at Westfield. I know there's some differing opinions on the table here. We'll talk about that one later. And then Oxon Hill at Eleanor Roosevelt to wind things down. And of course, where you can watch it right here on DMVSTREAM.com. And then there are some channels for you as well between Thursday and Saturday. So a lot to get to today. But first, take a look at how to get your play featured each week on All Met Sports Top Plays.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at AllMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob, and you got to remember to hashtag it, Ole Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at allmetsports.com. We'll see you soon.
Hey everybody, welcome back into the Prep Zone. It's time for game report number 1. And I'm going to start with you, Derek. You had this one. It was between DeMatha and Gonzaga. What was the big story?
So last year when Gonzaga upset DeMatha for their only loss of the season, running back Corey Spruill actually fractured his ankle, and it caused him to miss the rest of his junior season. So this year he came out fired up, and it worked all cylinders behind his offensive line. That's just great. And so Corey Spruill and his sophomore running back partner Miles Myrie formed a great thunder and lightning duo behind a very physical offensive line, and they were just unstoppable the entire game. The offensive line really was the story of the game, and it just opened up holes for them, and they were running hard. And here you see the sophomore running back Miles Myrie just make some space happen, and he's going to be a good one for a couple years to come. And here you see Gonzaga quarterback Sam Brown hook up with receiver Max Fisher in the end zone. But the great running game opened up the play-action bootleg for Bo English, and here he hits for the touchdown. And that really created a great offensive balance for the team, and it really had it clicking on all cylinders. And the Gonzaga offense, they tried to get Tyree Randolph going, but DeMatha's defense was very stout, and they had a great game.
And boy, Bo English has been mentioned on this show several times, and he has not disappointed this year. You take a look at some of his numbers here.
Yeah, the thing that just sticks out is his percentage number, 16 of 19. He's so efficient. And Air Force next year, they're going to have a good one with him.
All right, it's time for our game report number 2. Brenton, you had this one. It was between South Lakes and Madison. What was the big headline?
Well, both teams coming into this game were 6-0. South Lakes lost to Madison 38-6 last season, so they were hoping for a different result this time around, and they would get it. They got off to a great start here. Their quarterback, Devin Miles, hits the wide receiver, Eddie Moeller, and he'll get stopped just before the goal line. That sets up a 1-yard touchdown by Spencer Alston. He had a big day. He had 2 touchdowns on the game. South Lakes relied on Spencer Alston to run the ball, and they relied on him to catch some passes out of the backfield, like this screen pass here. And he also had a play where he caught a tip pass, so he was really impressive. This touchdown here is beautiful, though. So he's going to get to the outside, plants his foot, cuts in, makes not one, not two, but 3 Madison defenders miss for that touchdown. On the other hand, Madison really couldn't get too much going. Hoodke only had 2 interceptions coming into this game, but he threw 2 interceptions to Andrew Funaki in the first quarter alone. And like I said earlier, Madison really just struggled to get their rhythm going. And this play here really sums it up. It's a 4th and 1, and they get stopped on the goal line. They'd score late in the 4th quarter, but by then it was too late, and South Lakes would prevail 21-13.
And our top performer is Andrew Funaki, and he really had quite a game and paced that team for sure. You take a look at some of his numbers right here.
Yeah, he had the 5 receptions, 105 yards. So every time he got a reception, he seemed like it was a big play. And the 2 interceptions, like I mentioned earlier, really shut down Madison's deep game. And once that happened, South Lakes was in control. And real quick, I got to give a shout out to the parents of Spencer Alston, the family. They recognized, they were watching the show last week, and they saw that I picked Madison. And after the game, they called me out on it. So shout out to you guys. I learned my lesson. I'm going to be picking against them again.
Yeah, you'll be thinking about that at the round table next time, won't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, game report number 3. Derek, that was you. This was not anywhere near as close as our first 2 game reports. It was between Wise and Eleanor Roosevelt. What went down here?
Yeah, seeing this Wise team in person, they are a great team. They're loaded with talents, and they really look dominant at times. And the first play of the game we're going to see here is senior quarterback Jabari Laws, and he throws a great fade route that only sophomore receiver Isaiah Hazel can jump up and pinpoint the ball at its highest spot. But I got to give Eleanor Roosevelt a lot of credit. They had a lot of fight in them. And you can see this long touchdown catch by receiver Raymond Boone. And that was the only score of the game because Wise's defense was very strong, led by senior defensive end Willie Mabry right here, bringing them down. And he's a senior transfer who, first thing he said after the game was that this team is not like any other team he's been on. This is family. And his coach actually feels like father. And they really play like that out there. And here you see Jabari Laws, one of his 5 touchdowns of the night, and he played an impressive game. And here you're going to see his next one. And it was all about John Moo Oliver, actually, too, the running back. He had 139 yards, and his speed really shows. He had a 64-yard touchdown run where he went untouched, and it looked like he was a blur just out there. Super fast, and he's going to be a good one.
Jabari Laws, you mentioned him. He's our top performer. What was so special about his game?
He really found the deep ball today. He missed on a couple occasions, and after the game, he and his receivers were kind of joshing around. It's like, oh, I missed you on that one, but he had 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, and he made up for it, and he had a great game.
All right, that was game report number 3. We're going to take a quick break. We got more coming for you. I know Brenton and Derek are itching to get the rest of our game reports. We'll also preview coming up. But first, this past weekend, DMVSTREAM.com broadcasted from Georgetown's Midnight Madness. It was quite a thrill. Mutombo was on the scene. I don't know if he did any finger wagging, but it was a great show for sure. Take a look here.
Today we're at McDonough Arena on the campus of Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., where we're tasked with broadcasting the basketball team's Midnight Madness event live to our client's Facebook page at the Washington Post. Now, considering that this venue is not truck-friendly, we've instead rolled out our Fly Pack kit for this event. Our Fly Pack allows us to produce a multi-camera stream live to the web by marrying together a series of state-of-the-art products and production tools for one easy setup. Now, we've built out our kit and run 4 independent camera angles back to our NewTek TriCaster. Our director is then producing a live show for the viewers at home. We've also tapped into the in-house network, the internet, which allows our director to pull in live graphics from an independent graphics operator who's working on his own system and feeding graphics across that network. Now, even though you can stream directly out of TriCaster, we've opted instead to pull an independent feed directly into an independent encoder called the Teradek VidiU. This great product simply allows you to take an HDMI feed and you can encode that broadcast separately directly to the client's platform, which today is the Washington Post Facebook page. We've run our own audio back from our staging area where our talent is telling the story for the viewers at home. We've also pulled an audio feed from the in-house PA so we can switch over to the in-house DJ whenever we want to send that audio to our viewers at home. All right, for more great videos like these and to learn more about how to broadcast your event, go to DMVSTREAM.com.
Well, what a night that was from Georgetown University's campus. We were really happy to be a part of it. Let's get back into the prep zone here. Game report number 4 coming up. Brenton, you had this one. It was between Sherwood and Blair. Both teams came in undefeated. What was the story?
That's right. Both teams came in undefeated. It was a highly anticipated matchup, and through the first 3 quarters, it didn't disappoint. But Sherwood had a major day on the game running the football, and you started with their quarterback, Michael Maboni, who takes this direct snap, and he's going to go 85 yards, makes multiple Blazers miss on the play. He had over 200 yards on the game, and I believe 3 touchdowns as well. So he had a huge day, and when he wasn't running the ball really well, their running back Travis Levy was running the ball really well. He hurdles the defender right here, and then he finally gets taken down just before the goal line. Blair would try to respond through the air, but this one's going to get picked off by Jarvis Tillman, and that's going to set up Levy's touchdown run right here. And it was just a huge game for him as well. He had over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns too. So Sherwood, it was a close game throughout the first 3 quarters, but Sherwood was able to pull away with the touchdowns by Travis Levy, and he's going to finish it off with a 3rd and final touchdown there that would lead them to the 43-26 victory.
Well, Michael Maboni earned our respect. He's our top performer on today's show, and you take a look at some of his numbers.
Yeah, I mean, he had the 226 yards, 2 touchdowns on just 17 attempts. So he had a huge day, and it was a coin toss between him and Travis Levy, but the 85-yard run gave him the edge.
All right, that was game report number 4. Derek, let's get into game report number 5 with you. That was between Episcopal and Bullis. Episcopal reigned in this one, but what was the story behind this?
Yeah, so this was actually Episcopal's first victory at Bullis since 2008, and they came out firing on all cylinders. This game was all about the running game for Episcopal, where junior running back Paris Jones went off for 226 yards. You can see him stiff-arming, bouncing off defenders, and finally making his way to the end zone for one of his 2 touchdowns of the game. And the 2 most impressive things I like about his game is his vision and his ability to find the hole and cut back and to keep his legs churning. Right here, you'll see he gets tackled, but it looks like he's going to get tackled, but he just keeps on churning his legs. It's very impressive. But both did fight back. We see Damani Neal go in for the score. And now we're going to see 2 impressive plays from the 4-star recruit who's committed to Michigan as a defensive lineman, but he shows he might be the next Jabril Peppers for Jim Harbaugh as he scores on the offensive side as well. But my player of the game has got to be running back Paris Ellis, whose mom actually just had surgery earlier that day, but still came to see him play the very night, even having surgery a couple hours before. Just amazing, and that really meant a lot to him. You must have seen having 258 rushing yards, just amazing.
There's something special about a night like that, and it just ignites a player. And you take a look at some of those numbers. I mean, those are serious numbers that really helped out Episcopal in this win.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's get on to our 6th and final game report. Brenton, you had this one. What was the story in Flint Hill versus Potomac?
Well, this is a huge rivalry game. Both Flint Hill and the Potomac School just straight up do not like each other. It was also the Potomac School's homecoming, but Flint Hill came out and had a huge game offensively, and they were led by their running back, Mark Lewis, who had a huge game. He had a couple of touchdowns, over 200 yards, and that set up their passing game as they had a fumble there, but they were right on the spot, and they were able to get it for a touchdown. And Mark Lewis, again, he was able to run inside, he was able to run outside. That set up the passing game really well, and that run there set up the touchdown pass to Trey Rucker. And Flint Hill would be in control, it felt like, in the first half. But give some credit to Potomac School. They responded. They were able to come up with a big play here on 4th down as their quarterback, Carter Bosch, finds his man down the sidelines for a big play. And the Potomac School came up with a couple of big plays, but they couldn't quite come up with enough as Flint Hill was able to pull away 33-10.
That'll do it for our game reports. We got previews coming up, but before, take a look at some of Mark Lewis's number. You mentioned him. He's our top performer from the weekend. How special were those, huh?
I mean, they gave him the ball a lot, 32 carries like you can see, but they had a reason to because he had almost 300 yards, 284 yards, so it's a huge game and 2 touchdowns. He was the guy that really paced that offense and allowed them to play well.
What running back in any league does not want 30-plus carries?
I mean, that's all the opportunities you could hope for.
He's got the coach in his back pocket, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Boy. 30-plus carries. I'll take that. All right, game reports are finished. Previews are coming up. But first, take a look at the athlete and play of the week. Hey again, everybody. Bob Trossett here to unveil the DMVSTREAM.COM Athlete of the Week. And this week, it goes to Wilson Stephen Williams Jr. The Old Dominion recruit threw for a career-high 438 yards and 6 touchdowns, leading the Tigers to a commanding 53-22 win over Ballou. If you want to be the DMVSTREAM Athlete of the Week, be sure to tweet us at DMVSTREAM. Hey again, everybody. Bob Trossett here to unveil the DMVSTREAM.COM Play of the Week. And this week it comes from Ashburn, Virginia. With Broad Run trailing Stonebridge 7-3 late in the fourth quarter, Spartans quarterback Mitch Griffiths finds Meech Hembry with a perfect pass in between 2 defenders, and Hembry has nothing but green in front of him, going 79 yards to the house for the game-winning touchdown with a minute left in the 10-7 win over their crosstown rivals. If you want to see your play as the Play of the Week on this show, be sure to tweet us at DMVSTREAM. Hey everybody, Bob Trossett here. Welcome into our Fairfax studios here on DMVSTREAM.COM. I'm joined by Mark Giannotto. I think we could call you the All-Mets sports guru. What do you think?
I guess. I'll take it.
You're here
better than some of the names I've been called.
Let's go with it. So you're here to break down and preview for us a big game coming up on Saturday. It's Gonzaga versus Good Counsel. What do you expect going into this one?
Well, it's always a great game when these two teams meet. Two of the best teams in the area, two of the best teams in the country, really, when you think about talent and tradition. And no different this year in terms of how big this is for the WCAC standings. Both these teams are 2-1 in league play coming into this one, and this is important for playoff position. Looks like DeMatha and St. John's are going to be the top 2 seeds, and this game will probably decide who's the 3 seed, who's the 4 seed when we go into the WCAC playoffs. But you're also just looking at 2 teams. You're seeing here, Gonzaga loves to ground and pound the ball, and so does Good Counsel. 2 really good running backs, 2 really good offensive lines. I expect a really, really good game. Gonzaga won the regular season meeting last year, and then Good Counsel picked off Gonzaga in the WCAC semifinals in the playoffs last year. So kind of like a grudge match we got on Saturday. I'm really interested to see who wins out. It's going to be one of those slobber knocker, whose offensive line is tougher, whose running back can take the most hits type of game. I don't think you're going to see a ton of passing. If there is, it'll be change of pace, play action type stuff. But both these teams, when they're at their best, are really just running the ball down your throat. So it should be a really, really, really good game.
Between the 2 teams, there are combined 10 total players who hope to and are already going to play at the next level. What type of level, high level, will this game be played at because of that stat?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're looking at a lot of positions on the field that will have guys who you're going to see on Saturday in a few years. First, we got here Muhammad Ibrahim, one of the top running backs in the area, Division I recruit. He's undecided right now. Probably doesn't have the offers he deserves because he's a little undersized, but he's as tough as they come. 988 yards this year so far. And then you go look at his counterpart on Gonzaga, another undersized guy, Tyree Randolph, probably used more than any. I think he's 2nd or 3rd in carries in the area, and so they really rely on him. He had a 19-game touchdown streak come to an end last week in their loss to DeMatha, but another guy undersized but really tough and really hard to bring down, and a guy who probably should have more scholarship offers than he does.
Well, it should be a thriller for sure in DC. I'm looking forward to it. I know you are as well. And that's your preview for Good Counsel versus Gonzaga coming up this Saturday here on DMVSTREAM.COM. Be sure to check it out through us on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page. First time ever doing something like that. Really excited. We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, welcome back into the Prep Zone. I hope you enjoyed that segment with Mark Giannotto. We appreciate him coming in and previewing what's to come here in the next couple weekends or so. So let's get into our game previews. We've got 2 on tap. Derek, we're going to start with you between center field at Westfield. Should be a good one. I know we got some differing opinions here at the round table. What are your expectations?
Yeah, we all know this is a very intense game between 2 powerhouse teams, and they always seem to be top 10 in Virginia, top 5 in Virginia at that. And last year, Westfield edged them out for the victory, but I expect this one to be very close, as this year Centerville is averaging 30 points a game and Westfield 29 points a game. So I expect a very close game. And you just saw quarterback Raymond Johnson. Last year he was a wide receiver, so this year he transfers over to the quarterback, and I look for him to have a big game, letting it fly, and hopefully he sees his wide receiver there, Ivory Frimpong. He was 6'3", and he has a lot of talent. I expect a big game from him, and I think it's going to be a very close game. If Centerville can get the run going to open up the play-action pass downfield, I think it'll be a good game for Centerville, and Ivory Frimpong, definitely a player to watch, and I think it'll be a good one between this one.
Yeah, we've tallied a couple players to watch, one on each team. And let's start it off with Jameel Seiler of Centerville. What's so special about him, and what do you expect this coming weekend?
You know, he's a very mobile quarterback. He's able to move around, and he's got a great arm where he can throw it about 40 yards. I saw it him at the Tuscarora game. They only lost the game, but he threw back off his foot and threw it about 50 yards, and his receiver made a diving grab in the end zone. He's really got a great arm. If they can get the running game going, get him involved both ways, it'll be a good one for him.
And on the flip side, Westfield's Ivory Frimpong, you mentioned him a couple times in those opening highlights. Take a look at some of his numbers.
Yeah, it seems like whenever Westfield's in need of a big play, they turn to him. If it's a 3rd and long, they're looking in his direction. Raymond Johnson and him seem to really have a good connection, and I look for a big game from him in order for Westfield to get the victory.
All right, so you've seen the highlights, you've seen the players to watch. Who we got on Saturday?
You know, I got to go with Westfield this week. I think Frimpong and Johnson are going to have a big game, and I think they're going to take Centerville down this week.
Brenton, you got something to say about that, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to defer a little bit there. I'm going to have to disagree. I'm going with Centerville in this one. I think Jameel Seiler is going to have a big game. And he's also got a great wide receiver to throw to in Isaiah Culver, who is somebody who can make big plays, and he tends to make big plays at the times when Centerville needs them the most. So I think that'll happen again this week.
All right, I'm going to go. Derek, you and I are sticking side by side on this one. I think Westfield gets back to its winning ways. We'll see. There's stranger things have happened here as November's approaching and playoffs are right around the corner. All right, let's get up to our next game preview. This is our final game preview. This is between Oxon Hill and Eleanor Roosevelt. Brenton, you kind of had the chance to break down this one. What are we expecting going in?
Yeah, this should be a very interesting game, Bob. It's 2 teams that are playing very well so far this season. Eleanor Roosevelt looking to rebound from that tough loss against Wise that we talked about earlier, but their quarterback Jaden Faulkner's got a good arm, and he's got a good guy to throw to in Raymond Boone. And their defense is an opportunistic defense, so they can get some interceptions, force some fumbles if you're not careful with the football. Meanwhile, Oxon Hill has surprised a lot of people this season. They're off to a strong 7-0 start. It's going to be their best record in 20 years, and it's thanks in large part to the guy right there, Daniel George. He's somebody who makes an impact on all the phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, and also he's got his wide receiver mate, Javon Hayes, who's also a big playmaking guy. And last but not least, their quarterback, DeJuan Rollins. He finds Daniel George in the end zone there in a game against Flowers in the Mud Bowl. But last but not least, Rollins can beat you with his arm or with his legs. So when you're talking about playing against the Clippers, you've got a very versatile offense, and that's something that the Raiders will have to look out for.
And you mentioned him, Oxon Hill's player to watch in our eyes is Daniel George, and here's some of his numbers.
That's right. Daniel George, he's got 424 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns, which is tied for 3rd in the area. But like I said earlier, he's somebody who doesn't just make an impact on offense. He can make an impact on defense and on special teams as well. So Eleanor Roosevelt will have to know where he is at all times.
All right, how about Jaden Faulkner, Eleanor Roosevelt's big stud? What's he going to bring to the table?
Right, Jaden Faulkner is a dual threat quarterback. He's got 583 passing yards, 434 rushing yards, 6 rushing and 6 passing touchdowns for a total of 12. But the big thing, 0 interceptions. So he hasn't turned the ball over yet throwing this year, and that'll be something that has to continue if they're going to win against Oxon Hill and give them their first loss.
So based on all those numbers and based on all those significant players, who are you taking in this one?
Well, I'm going to go with Oxon Hill. I think Oxon Hill's off to a special year. So I think that'll continue, and I think Daniel George will have another big game in this one.
You two just can't agree, huh, Derek? What do you think?
Hey, usually we do agree on things, I think.
I know.
No, this week I'm taking Illinois Roosevelt. I got to see them play against Wise, and Carl Mofor, the running back, the beginning of the season, he was only being a running back, but now he's being utilized special teams, middle linebacker, and running back, and he's seen since start getting his groove now, and I think he's going to have a big game, and Illinois Roosevelt's going to get back on track.
Brenton, I'm sticking with you. I think Oxon Hill improves to 8-0. And like you said, they're breaking records personally for their school. So this should be a good one. I like it to be real close, but we'll see about that one, won't we, guys?
Yeah.
All right, so that'll do it for our game previews. Really, really excited to show you this. Michael Niebrick broke down the tape of Hayfield's Jacob Keeney. The senior quarterback is putting up some big numbers for Hayfield, and that's why they're off to a big-time start. Take a look here. Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of the QB Academy. Bob Trossett alongside my partner Michael Niebrick, former All-Met Player of the Year in 2010 and Lake Braddock grad. We're happy to have you back.
Always a pleasure.
Got two QBs on the tap today. I know you're itching to get into them and break down some of their tape. Let's first get into Jacob Keeney. What can you tell me about him?
Yeah, Jacob Keeney from Hayfield. He's a special player to watch, and this year he's having himself a fantastic year statistically and as a team. Right now he's throwing 63% completion rating, which is fantastic for a high school quarterback with 2,000 yards and 31 total touchdowns there. And this kid's a nightmare for defenses because he has a very live arm. He can fit the ball into tight windows. He can throw the ball down the field. He's got a lot of playmakers around him, which allow him to make explosive plays down the field. And he also is very good running the football. So he's a nightmare for defenses to try and stop. And I think that's why you're seeing the success that he's had this year.
And he's not the only one that's having success. Hayfield also off to a hot start, 6-1. So let's get into a little bit of those highlights about what makes this kid so special.
Yeah, and we're going to start off with his arm strength here, like I kind of mentioned. And this play's a little bit unique because the defense is actually going to be running a cover 5 here. So it's going to be a cover 4 to the field and a cover 2 to the boundary. So I think whether he saw the cover 5 or not, he definitely sees 2 high safeties here, and he knows that his number 3 wide receiver is going to be running that little bender route. And what he does an excellent job of, let's go right back to the top here, he does an excellent job at taking his footwork and then taking his hitches up in the pocket. So let's go slow-mo.
Thanks to Michael Niebrick for breaking down Keeney's film. Boy, he's really done a lot for Hayfield this year and is a big contributor to their solid start of the season. A lot positive things coming for Hayfield. So, guys, thank you for coming on for the Prep Zone. Another solid edition. A lot of good analysis, and I think with three weeks out to playoffs, there's still a lot to happen. But this week's definitely pivotal for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big one.
I know you guys are going to be on tap for it, and that brings me to talking about a little bit about this Saturday. You can catch us on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page. The first ever Facebook Live we're working with the Washington Post. Really excited. It's at Gonzaga and versus Good Counsel. A lot of talent on those two rosters. I think you're going to see a lot of those guys at the next level. Brenton Randolph, Derek Kramer, Bob Trossett. This has been the Prep Zone. We'll see you guys next time.